Thanks for doing this interview. Um, so why don't you tell us your age and name, and if you want, you can say what city you're from.
Okay. Hello, my name is Diana.
And you can look this way or whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you
Okay.
want.
Maybe I don't want to look. Kidding.
Oh,
Okay. Let's try again. I'm Diana. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Dnipro.
Okay. And could you just maybe share what your experience was like leading up to the war? What was it like in Ukraine? What was it like in Dnipro leading up to before the war started?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So there were rumors that war is gonna start very soon in Ukraine, and I wanted to believe that it's not gonna happen. So our church started to pray about that. So it's not gonna happen, and we prayed for several months. But then in the February, everyone kind of felt that that's gonna be something, because it was like, like in the air. We just felt this. And yeah, the war started 24th of February, 2021, 22. Yeah, I'm just lost. So it's almost 2 years already. And yeah, when the war started, first I haven't even believed in that, because my sister, she woke me up and she said, okay, get up because there is a war started. And there was 4 in the morning, 4 a.m. and everyone was so scared and like so lost, because nobody knew what to do. And we actually, my family, we hadn't any plan for leaving or what we should do and so on and so on. So we just were like, okay, what can we do right now? And I can say from everyone that it was the worst day ever in my life and in other lives, as I asked many people. And it was awful first weeks. So after a week, we were sitting just at home and doing nothing, because you don't know what to do in this situation. And after that, things were getting worse and worse, and we just, my family decided that me, my mom, and my sister should go somewhere abroad, because it's not very safe to stay in Dnipro, because my city is very near to the occupied cities already, so there were danger that they would come very soon to my city. And I wasn't agree with them that I need to go, and I was begging to let me stay in my city, but they kind of forced me to go because that was too dangerous and so on. So yeah.
And why did you not want to leave?
I don't know, I just felt that I don't want to leave my country in this situation. I don't want to leave my friends, because a lot of my friends and a lot of people from my church, they stayed the whole war in Dnipro, in the city. And I just felt that if I would leave, then it means that I forsake them, and I didn't want to feel that I just felt guilty that I'm doing that.
And so you asked your parents, because you, your mom, and your sister ended up leaving, right?
Yeah.
So you asked your parents if you could stay.
Yeah, and they could live without me, because I'm just adult and I can't stay alone. But my mom said, no, I'm not gonna live without you. Only 3 of us. And my brothers and father, they couldn't leave, because men are not allowed to leave till now. Yes, so we left, and that was horrible way. That was the worst way ever to go abroad, because there was thousands of women and children that were trying to leave the country. So it took us several days to go to Slovakia.
And how did you leave? Did you drive a car from?
No. For driving, it was almost impossible because there were thousands of cars that tried to leave. So there was horrible traffic. People were staying like for weeks just to leave the country.
And that was in March of 2022.
Yeah.
So there was still snow in some places,
Yeah,
very
that was
cold.
very cold. Yeah, that was like almost the winter.
Did you see many people just walking?
No, walking I haven't seen. Actually, I was so I was so depressed at that time, so I didn't care about anything. I was just like, I was led and I didn't want to do, I begged to stay. And when I saw some problems with our way and with our train, for example, because our train was cancelled and we got to another train, all trains were free because there were thousands of people on the trains and people were sitting like in the corridors, not in the seats. So yeah, and when we saw some obstacles, I'm just like, maybe that's a sign. We have to stay. Please, can I stay? Yeah, and we were like, actually, what helped me to move, that was that. Okay, I'm gonna I will come back in several weeks for sure because war will not be so long. Like we really actually thought that it will take like several weeks or months and so on, and we will come back. So it didn't happen, and so we had this way to Slovakia. So we changed several trains. We were exhausted. There were thousands of people on the train stations, and so we got to Slovakia. Some friends from US helped us, and we were staying in Slovakia for several days. And then we moved to Germany because there is a castle, and they are helping Ukrainian women and children, and people can stay and live there as long.
Yeah. So what was your train ride like? If you could just kind of explain that experience, because it was a 17-hour train ride, right?
17 hours to Lviv. That's like the west of Ukraine because we live almost on the east of Ukraine. So yeah, we got to the west of Ukraine, and then we changed probably one train, and then by car we got to the border with Slovakia. We were waiting several hours to go abroad by walk. Then our friends met us there, and actually Slovakia was so helpful because when we went through the border, there were like, I don't know, a lot of tents with any kind of help. I mean, with clothes, with I don't know, with different kind of food, whatever you need, you just could say and they just can give you. So that was really helpful, and we just felt that people are so welcome to help us. That was such a relief, that somebody is caring about us. Yeah.
So Anne told me, and maybe you can elaborate on this, that what your room was like on the train with so many of you and how you slept.
Yeah. So actually it was even a miracle that we got a room. So we got a room with 2 beds, and usually people use it only for 2 persons, but we were 6 of us in that room. There was only our friends, so we were kind of even glad that we had this room, that we can be alone, like only with people that we know.
And it was just 6 of you, so you all just had to sit there.
Yeah, we were sitting, and so one girl, she was sleeping like above so that place we were supposed to for beds and
for luggage.
Yeah, for
she
luggage.
Had to sleep
yeah,
up
you saw
at
that.
the ceiling, the
yeah,
top of the room.
And one girl, she was sleeping there. I don't remember, probably my mom and then my sister, they were sleeping on the floor. And then at night we were asked to have 2 more women in our room. We already 6 and then 2 more. So it was horrible. Yeah. but anyway, we were like happy that there's like at least one room where we can sit because we weren't in corridor. A lot of people just were sitting in the corridor for 17 hours, you know, and everyone has some bags, so it's like it's impossible to move, and there was still cold. There was like almost winter. So yeah, that was really horrible. And sometimes when I think about what we experienced, it's just like wow, that was really a lot. Yeah, and then from Slovakia to Germany, we had also several trains. There were also a lot of Ukrainians. I mean, they were everywhere, just thousands of people. And other countries were very helpful because they all trains were free for Ukrainians. And yeah, so like it took us like about 1 day to got from Slovakia to Germany to this castle. Yeah, we were so helpful that finally we have some place where we can stay and not to be worried, you know, about something and so on. So yeah, we got there, but you know, everyone felt so depressful, and I mean. We had some volunteers from different countries. They were just coming, and a lot of Germans were coming to the castle. They helped us, and they got they got a lot of food, a lot of clothes, everything that they could just bring. They brought to us, and like we didn't need that much, but they just brought because they felt sorry about all of this. So yeah. So yeah, we happened in Germany, and my family and I was staying there for almost half of the year. Yeah, that's first.
Thank you. So what was, you said when you got to the castle you were really depressed. What was going through your heart and your mind during that time? What were you struggling with?
What I was struggling with, I mean, you've never experienced so much grief in your life because when we were here, yeah, we heard a lot of explosions, you know, and so on.
Before you left?
Yeah, before we left.
Can you maybe touch on that for just a moment of like, do you remember where in Dnipro was attacked, or were there rockets every single day, or?
No, it wasn't every single day. First day of the war, there were explosions all around the Ukraine. So every city heard that. That was their purpose, like that start of the war. And after that, they had several, but more they were focused on other cities. So other city wasn't so attacked at this first week. Yeah, so it wasn't so scary. I don't know why. I just felt and I knew that I'm not gonna die in this war. I mean, but even if I will, I mean, I know that I'm with God. So even if like something will happen, I will be with God, like, you know, in heaven, and it will be more. That would be better than I'm staying here right now. So I just like, yeah, I don't care. In the first days, my parents were saying like, you shouldn't sleep in your room. It's better to sleep like together in other rooms because yeah, I'm on the second floor, or it's better even to sleep in like bomb shelter. We just have this room, so my granny and sister, they cleaned that up and they put some beds there to sleep there. But no, I'm not gonna sleep there because it's too cold. I mean, this room isn't. They didn't have heat, any light, you know. So just like bumps, like yeah, I didn't like that. Just like, okay, do whatever you like, but I'm gonna sleep in my bed, even if I die. Like that's God's will. I mean, I don't want to do that. Yeah. So, but actually nothing of that happened, and we hadn't any like bomb attack or something near my house, thanks God, till now. So it's happening in my city, but not like very close to my house. Yeah, so I hadn't actually experienced a lot of this through the first week of the war. Um, so when I left, uh, I mean, we were more worried and we were so nervous about my family that was staying in Ukraine, and a lot of friends and my church and so on. So we were more, worried about that than about ourselves. So when we left Ukraine, we were even more like nervous about that, because now you are not with them and you can't help them anyhow, and you feel that you are in safe place and they are not, and you just like, what should I do? How I can feel anything, we got to Germany and there was beautiful house, and like we had everything that we needed, and we could spend time as we wanted and so on, but you just feel nothing, just complete loss. You don't want anything, you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, you just like feel that everything ruined. I mean that your whole life changed for 100%, and a lot of my friends were staying there, and a lot of my friends also moved to other countries, and we just text each other all the time, like, how are you feeling, and where are you, what are you doing, and so on, so on. So yeah, and that was very painful to see all families that were in Kosovo, and especially women. They were crying all the time, they were like grieving, about their families, about their husbands, and so on and so on. So we got a lot of people in the Kosovo Christians as well. So we had prayers meetings several times in the day, in the morning, in the evening, and we were praying. We were we just spent this time together to pray for Ukraine, for our families, and so on. So it helped a little, but we were still like in the place where we didn't know what to do. Like, you can't just pray. You don't feel like you want to pray, because everything like changed, and you don't know what is gonna happen with your family, with your friends, and what's gonna happen with you when you can come back, and so on. Yeah, but it was like the first months. I think after that it was a little bit better, because everyone started to getting used to this situation and trying to find out what we can do. But we were living really by hope that we will come back very soon. Was one thing that we really wanted, everyone wanted. We just wanted, okay, we will come back, we will come back, we will come back. Something like that.
Yeah, I remember the day that I brought Lisa and her family to the castle. You were pretty excited to see Lisa. Is she one of your close friends?
Yeah, she's one of my best friends. So actually, I called her when I came to Germany, and she was with her family, and she was also like very stressful at the time. And I said, like, why don't you come to us as well with because she has little brother and her mother as well. And I just like, why can't you come? And because we have a lot of place. Not a lot of, because there were a lot of families, but I asked, can one more family come? And they said yes, they come. So I was just like, yeah, just go. That's a long way, but you will be like in safe place. So she suggested it to her family, and they said yes, it's a good idea. So yeah, they came after a week. Like, I was in Kassel, so I was.
So you were there for a week, and then she got there a week after you got there. Okay.
Yeah, and that was really a blessing for me, because I think if I were only with my family and all other people, I would come back to Ukraine very soon, because the problem, not the problem, but the thing was that we had like one room for a family, and there wasn't a big room, and actually I was living It was like two separate rooms for my family and family of my cousins and my aunt. So there was like 6 people in one room. So there was a hard there was a challenge for me to live like that, because I like my own space, and when I don't have it, I mean, I go crazy because I need a space where I can be alone, and nobody could have it. We just had our own space outside. You can hide somewhere or whatever. So there was a challenge also, because when everyone is depressed, everyone everyone has this stress, and
Tensions are high.
yes, and only women are in the castle, and children. So you can imagine how hard was that, and how many fights were there, and so on. So I mean, that was really hard. So when I got my best friend there, I was just happy that I have one more person that I can share and we can spend time. Because actually there was nothing to do there. I mean, just what can you do when there is a war in your country? You lost job, you lost everything. We didn't need money at that time, because the government helped us with money. But actually we had food and we had clothes. I mean, we had everything for just living,
But it must have felt, you said something you keep saying is you guys were so depressed.
Yeah.
Because it must have felt so miserable and
Yeah.
hopeless, and you must have felt helpless not being able to do anything. You're so far removed
Yeah.
from everything, and there's not much that you can really do to help and be with your family, your church, your friends.
Yeah, so the problem was with everyone, that everyone were living without a purpose, you didn't have what to do. You just live every day. And I mean, I remember the 6 months, and just I try to remember what I really were doing whole this time, and I don't understand what I was doing. Nothing. Wake up, you have breakfast, then you just spend the whole day, and then you just go to bed, and that's all. Just days were crazy. Yeah.
And when you don't have anything to occupy your time, you're thinking, and probably thinking through the worst case scenarios that were going on with your dad and your brothers here.
We were talking a lot with our friends and family who is staying here.
So you still had contact with them?
Yeah, we had all day. Yeah, we just text, and we had calling, and that helped, because they were, the thing is, when you are abroad and you are far away from Ukraine and from this place, you feel that there is worse situation that it really is. What I mean by that for example, so in our telephones we have this app when we see siren that is coming, and how often it is in our city, and also we checked all channels where it's saying, okay, today the war was several explosions here, or rockets went there, and so on. So you just you think, okay, that is so scary. Oh, they must be how can they survive, and so on. So, but when we ask them, they're just yeah, that was scary. Yeah, but we are fine. We're okay. Thank you, and so on and so on. But yeah, there were especially first months, and then the summer. So first 6 months, there were a lot of explosions, a lot of rockets went to our city. So yeah, that was really scary, because we were checking all this, and we were with people, and they were texting us what is going on. So that was hard to understand that we are not with them, and we can't help. We can only pray for them.
Mm-hmm. So what, through all of this hardship, through the depression, through the anxiety, through the fear, I'm sure there was a lot of fear as well. What was God doing in your heart and in your mind during that time? And was there anything maybe from His Word or just His presence or something that encouraged you and helped you to keep going and press on, or yeah, if you can maybe share about that.
Actually, we had a lot of encouragement from volunteers that came from US, and there were people from like Germany as well, and they were grieving with us, and they were telling us how they pray for us, how they help, like they tried to help us as much as they could. And that were really encouraging us, because we understood that we are not alone in this world, and that the whole world are praying for us, praying for our families that is still in Dnipro, and that was really a lot of help. And they were also like saying, like we tried to had every day these meetings with like all women that we had in this castle, and also with owners of the castle. So they were encouraging us, like tried to encourage us like every day, and we were trying to like read some word, praying, and we had worship meetings as well. So it really helped, because I mean, what can help you when you are in this situation? Nothing except God, and that really helped. And what God did in my heart, I mean, some people asked me, was I disappointed in God, when the war started? How can I believe that there is still God when this horrible thing is going on with my country? And I mean, my perception of God didn't change, because I mean, it changed, but in a different way. I wasn't disappointed, because I clearly understood that God doesn't want this war, but because of people who are so sinful right now, and because of this darkness, in this world, it is going on like that. People just are blind, and they are so lost, so they started doing these crazy things. I mean, what was very hard, and it's still hard for us, like for Christians, that's to forgive your enemies. I mean about Russians, because one story that we heard, I mean, you have this feelings like that you hate them with all your heart, and that is so hard when it says in Bible you have to forgive them, but you don't understand how to forgive them if they are doing that to your country, and to your people, and people are dying, and children are dying every day, and all of this stuff. So that is still hard for everyone in Ukraine. But yeah, I mean, we knew, and we saw so many miracles actually through this war, and so many people were saved by miracle, and so many people got saved because they started to believe in God when the war started, because by some reasons. And for me it was like, yeah, I know, God, that you're still here, you're still in control, you're still good, you're still merciful to us, and I believe that there will be the end of the war, there will be the like your judgment, and you are I know that you are with us. Even I don't understand why it's happening, even I don't understand why people are dying, and I just knew that God is grieving with us as we are grieving about these people, because they weren't supposed to die this like that. So there is still thousands of questions in my head, and everyone's head probably, like, why? But we are not gods, we don't know his ways, we don't know his thoughts, so that's just sinful world where we are living. And yeah, but one thing that could help me, that's really prayer, and just crying before God, because that is like useful to just to complain and to, I mean, we were depressed for some time, but then you just I mean, we had and we still have in our church everyday prayer for Ukraine, so we tried to to be with them. It's like online prayer on Zoom, so we joined them and we also prayed, so we were like connected with our church. Well, I hope I answered your question
No,
just
that's
a
great.
little.
That's great. So you had mentioned that the Russians, you know, some of the things that the Russian army had done were horrible things. If there's any examples that come to mind, would you mind sharing those? I know that 2 days ago you took us to the apartment buildings that had been hit by the missiles, and half of the buildings were gone, and you know, you can see, looking up, closets open with clothes, and you can see kitchens, and I think you said 41 people died in that, and 6 of them were children. And across the street from these buildings is a bus stop now that it's just full of stuffed animals as a memorial to the children that died. Can you maybe touch on that for a moment, or if there's examples you've heard stories of other things that the Russian army has done to other people in Ukraine?
I'm sorry, I want to translate one word.
Yeah, sure.
Because I forgot that.
Yeah.
So actually, you know, there is what I've heard, that there is rules of the war actually. So people shouldn't like kill civilians. It's only army on army, and they have the battle, and that's all. And the problem was that the Russians have no rules in their mind. I don't know where did they find this cruel people, because what they did with some people, especially with occupied cities. So what story that we heard and we read on the internet, like everyone can look at that, and that's pictures. So people people not just died because of bombs or because of something. People were raped, people were killed, people they just they did all horrible things that you can't even imagine, that people can be so cruel because of nothing. And there was just civilians, there were just women, children, old people that couldn't leave the city. And when you just see that, your mind is like blown, because you can't imagine that it really can happen in 21st century, that people can be so cruel. So I don't know, I've heard so many stories like so they were raping children, like they were like 10 months old, you know, or they just killed the whole family in front of the eyes, like of parents, for like all children. They were raped them, then they killed them, and then they killed parents, and and these parents were forced to watch how they do it to their children. And like there's thousands of stories. I know that there is I saw that there's also like a book about some stories in our shops already, about this, like some women, told their stories. Yeah, and I've heard a lot of stories, like people were captured and they were sitting without food, without water for days and days and days in the I don't know, little place without any light, and they were like sitting there for weeks, you know. And so there were stories like that. There were stories when people tried to escape and just leave the country and to go somewhere else, because it was already occupied by Russians, and Russians stopped them and just killed in their cars, shoot them. So yeah, but thousands of stories like that. And when you hear something like that, that it's not just war against the army, you know, like a government against another government, that's just like pure evil. That is, I don't know what they're. So like we heard a lot of from them, from Russians, and unfortunately, you know, why Ukrainians started to hate all of this, all Russians, not only people who are doing that, but others as well, because when there were, for example, on Instagram, posted some videos were saying, okay, that is going on right now, please stop, like, why don't you see that? Go, like Russians, you go outside, say the truth, like, stop this, because that is not okay, that is not normal. Like, there are millions of you Russian, they could do something against that. But they just wrote comments like, oh, we hate you, we want that it will happen to you, and we are so glad that it's happening with your children, with your women. You don't deserve to be a nation. And there was thousands of comments like that from Russians. So when you see that, you just like, how can we be like good, like, you know, how can we have a good attitude to all Russians if you are all like that? I believe that there is still like Russians that have their mind and they understand that it's wrong, but like the majority of them, they are just have different mindset. And so that is horrible to think even about that, what was happening, and it's still happening. And unfortunately, we don't know all the stories, because just thousands of people are killed already, and you don't know what they had. And a lot of people are traumatized for the whole their life, especially like children and women that saw all of that, and now they need just help, mental, you know, with psychologists and so on, because like how can they live with this pain all their life when they saw all of that, you know?
For sure.
Sorry,
So
I'm talking too much.
No, it's great. Thank you. So today is December 2nd,
Yeah.
2023. Just this morning, there were rockets that here in the city, I heard it from our hotel, you heard it from your house, that blew up an electric plant, and so many homes are without power right now. Last night at 2:30 in the morning, we heard a siren, air raid siren, and we heard rockets. The night before at the same time, 2:30 in the morning, we heard rockets exploding. So going back to the very beginning, leading up to the war, I mean, this war has been going on for almost 2 years now. Were you in school or working when the war started?
That's actually a funny story, because I was working before that, and I kind of lost my job before, like a week or 2 weeks before the war started. And then I thought like, oh, maybe that was a God plan, because anyway, I moved, you know, to another country. So no, I just had my work.
But you weren't able, so that even the beginning of the war affected not just your life in general as a whole, but your occupation as well. I mean, you weren't able to work.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I wouldn't work there when I worked when the war started. Yeah, so.
What was your dream right before the war started? What did you want to do with your life in your future?
My life and my future. Actually, we had what we were grieving a lot about our ministry in church. So I had been working in one company, and but actually my life was very involved in church ministry. We had great big youth ministry, and we had a lot of plans. We just before that, like, and actually, like, we planned another event, big event. Also, we knew that something gonna happen, but we thought like, okay, trust God. We are planning that event for unbelievers anyway. That event didn't happen because of war. Yeah, so I had a lot of plans here with this.
It's okay. Yeah, go ahead. We'll just keep talking. Yeah.
Запись? No?
Да,
You're
запись.
good. You're good.
Yeah, вы можете сделать.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I thought that we would do with this team a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. So that got interrupted, obviously, because of the war. So what are you hoping? What are you hoping for your life for the future? Because you don't know how long this war will go on.
Yeah. So actually, I can come back a little because after I was living in Germany for half of the year, I moved to Austria for my master's degree, and that was also a blessing. I think because it was like a miracle, everything happened, and I found like some university that can accept us, and they were so kind, and the studying was for free, and we even got scholarship, so that was really a blessing. And I was studying there for a year, so I was living in Austria. But then I felt that it's not what I want to do. I mean, so first I was scared to move to Ukraine again, because I was scared about all of the things. I didn't used to that, how to live when there is war and there is rockets and so on. But we came, so I was here several times. I just came to see my friends and my family, and we saw like, yeah, there's still life. I mean, how you see right now that we are living, and we are doing like church is living, and we are doing some projects, and yeah, our life changed for 100%. But there's still a life, there's still hope. So yeah, I had been studying for a year, and then I decided that I want to come back to Ukraine and I want to live here, because I just feel that I mean, I can be more useful, and I feel more confident when I live in my country with my family, with my friends. And because what is so hard for a lot of Ukrainians, and that's moving to another country where people like there are a lot of helpful people that are really supporting Ukrainians and so on, but actually, I mean, that is still hard. That is still hard because you miss your country. That is still hard because you're living in a new area, and people are talking another language, and they have another rules, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, that was very hard for me. This year and a half, I was leaving. I wasn't like depressed, but I felt this, that I can't. I want to go back home, because my heart belongs to this place. And yeah, so I came back, and I have actual plans. I believe that our youth ministry changed completely, because even with our pastors, they moved to US right now. So our youth pastors, and they're not pastors here anymore. So we have a lot of changes, what is going on. We have a lot of new youth, so a lot of our like old youth that were ministering here and so on. They moved to other places, and we don't have. We have like a whole new era, you know, and I just hope that God will do something different, something new here, and yeah. So I'm pretty excited even about like living here even through the war. I mean, unfortunately, there is only bad news about Ukraine and about the future of Ukraine. That like this war can be like for 10 years or for 5 more years and so on and so on. I want to believe in this, and I believe that because probably by our power only, yeah, we're like there is very little chances that we are gonna win this war, and we are gonna do it very soon. Actually, it's almost impossible. But I just believe that there will be a miracle, and God will do that. Because, I mean, I want to. I mean, when people are just believing only in our army, you know, or in our president, or something else, like that is like that's not gonna happen. We are so small, and we have so much, so less money than Russia has, or you know, and we don't have so much power to win them. But there is a God, and He is bigger than all of that, and only He can do miracle, and only He can help us to win this. So yeah, I still believe that there will be something good for Ukraine, and everyone will change. Not only Ukraine, the government, people. When they will change, Ukraine will win this war. So yeah, there is bad news, but I'm still believing that there is a God, that He is good, and He will do that for us.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you. To finish it off, what if there's maybe one main message that you could send to the church in America and ask them to pray for, or whatever? What would that be?
Okay, hard one.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of things, and you can say whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay, first I would say that I'm so grateful, and not only me, but our church and Ukraine in general. We are really so grateful for all prayers, for all help to Ukraine, because that is so important for us. And when you feel that you are not alone, and somebody is praying for you, somebody is praying for your country and helping as much as they can, that is so encouraging. You understand that you are not alone, and that is like we appreciate this so much. And my message would be that probably that just if you feel that you have some calling and you would like to help somehow Ukraine, that is really so great, and do it. Because if you can pray. If you can visit Ukraine and help us, like, and just to be with us, because for us, for Ukrainians, it's very we're very grateful when people come, really, you know, not just like see us from other countries, just like, yeah, we're praying for you, but just we are too afraid to go. But when people are doing that, that is so much like difference, you know, because when you feel that people can do that for you, and yeah, we just appreciate it so much. So if you feel this calling, that we are so open for everyone who comes here. Yeah, but my message is that first, like, we are still, all Ukrainians are still believing that God is good, and we know that only He can help, only He can provide everything that we need. And just remember that just remember to pray. Just remember to that there's still a war, because a lot of people are like, tired of that, tired of hearing news like, oh, that's Ukraine again. Again, they have something bad is going on in their country. Yes, it's true, but I mean, guard your heart not to be close for that, because when it's so much like pain and so much bad news, of course we are people who want to hear something happy, some happy news that, oh, we are tired about your country and all of this, but that is still going on. There is still people dying, and it's not how it has to be in 21st century, because you are going to bed and you know that nothing gonna happen with you at night, but most of the people are going to bed in Ukraine and they don't know would they wake up or they wouldn't, because like at night you're just waking up at 2 a.m. and you hear these explosions, and all that you can do is pray, like, God, please save my family, my church and my city, please, like, keep us in your hand, that's all that you can do. So that is very important for us, that people would understand how we really feel, how we really what we're going through. And if you see from some Ukrainians, and I think they would really appreciate if you just ask them, how are you doing, what help do you need, because there are a lot of refugees all around the world, and sometimes, I mean, this, all Ukrainians, I mean, who are still in Ukraine or who are moved to another country, they all went through bad things, for sure. Because war can be easy, I mean, it's hard for everyone. So if you can help them somehow, or just saying some encouragement, or just like pray for them, that would be so great, because yeah, we need this for sure. And but we are so grateful for everything that you are doing, and for that you came here, and that you're going to come, and like we love that and really appreciate all of this.
Yeah, thank you, Janet. Appreciate it. And we are praying for you, and it's my hope and prayer that many, not only that I would be able to come again many times, but that many Christians all over the world would come here and minister to you in your need. Because like you said, and it's so true, that there's nothing like coming and being there
Yes.
yourself and ministering to each other in each other's presence.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Appreciate it.